According to the map directions left by Ning Tongji, the entrance to the Wuxian clan is in the mausoleum. Yan Beiqing asked Mo Shanghua and Xia Sizu to step back for a while. Then, he went forward and fumbled on the stone gate at the entrance of the mausoleum. A moment later, he pushed it away for a while. A light golden ball of light condensed in the palm of his hand and smashed it towards the entrance of the mausoleum. This kind of energy should have the power of near destruction for everything in the world, but I never thought that the moment the energy ball bounced up, it would be like hitting something, and it would dissipate into the invisible. It's the border. Mo Shanghua's eyes narrowed slightly, and his eyes slightly coagulated. There is a border here. In sum, she has not seen the border in 100 years. Xia Sizu was even more stunned. After all, he was a 3-year-old child. Even in Zhaohui, he could not hide his inner shock. Mother, what is the boundary? It's a force invisible to the naked eye, like eggshell. As long as he's there, we can't get in. Mo Shanghua carefully considered the words, slowed down the voice and replied. Eggshell? Yan Beiqing, who had just returned with a dignified face, was unable to laugh or cry. I do not know why, such a metaphor in the mouth of Mo Shanghua, it seems so funny. But Xiao Xizhou listened very seriously, and even straightened up his chest and looked at Yan Beiqing. My mother is right, Dad, don't laugh. As soon as the voice fell, the flower on the street also glanced at it, vaguely with a sense of threat. Yan Beiqing grinned and stood in front of the mausoleum with his chest outstretched and hands down, but his face was still dignified. This border is not set by ordinary people, Mor. To be honest, the spiritual power of the kingdom of God is very weak. In the past 3 years, my skill recovery is less than 10%. It is extremely difficult to break this border. The flower on the street, holding the small hand of Xia Sizu, comes forward to have a look and frowns gently. Xia Sizu also learned the appearance of flowers on the street, staring at them with wide eyes, and the extremely rare and shallow eyebrows were also puzzling and wrinkled. Mother, I can't see anything. Yan North City gathered together to come over. The vision turned to Mo Shanghua. Mo Shanghua was silent for a moment, and her red lips moved. I can't see it either. Yan Beiqing, after looking at Mo Shanghua so seriously for a long time, he didn't see anything. Yan Beiqing was so cute and funny that he almost couldn't help laughing. As if aware of Yan Beiqing's emotion, Mo Shanghua turned his head without expression and said, I'm just getting angry now. I can't see it naturally. Yanbei City was originally a demon god in his previous life. Every reincarnation was with strength, while Mo Shanghua's previous life was because the soul was about to dissipate. Through reincarnation again and again, all things nourish and slowly gather back the dissipated soul, which is naturally different from Yanbei City. Even now, she does not have any weakness in her body. In fact, her spirit is still incomplete. Yan Beiqing quietly accepted the smile, drooped his eyes and thought about it carefully. He began to form a series of ancient and tedious fa seals in his hands. A touch of golden light flashed in his eyes. Mo Shanghua takes Xiao Xizhou and goes back, so as not to disturb Yan Beiqing and hurt them. Yan North City originally congealed in the hands of the law seal. This quickly spread, toward the border will be covered. However, it is still like a drop of water falling into the continuous Yangtze River. It is swallowed in the blink of an eye, and even a drop of flowers are not aroused. Yan Beiqing had no choice but to lock his sword and eyebrows tightly. This boundary is extraordinary. It's not something that people in this continent can set up. Mo Shanghua also nodded with a dignified look. I don't know what he thought of. Suddenly he sat down cross-legged, closed his eyes and put his hands on his knees. Seeing this, Yan Beiqing pulls Xia Sizu over for a while and sits cross-legged opposite her. When Mo Shanghua was in mainland China, she used to be a witch saint. Although she doesn't have any spiritual power, there are always some mysteries that others can't spy on. She closed her eyes for a long time, but she denied them one by one. After a long time, she suddenly opened her eyes and stood up an inch before the border. Yan Beiqing frowned and looked at the flowers on the street. He had a bad feeling in his heart. Before I could open my mouth, I saw the flower suddenly raised her hand and took a silver needle to pierce her fingertips. The bright red blood bead seeped out, but did not fall on the ground, but was wrapped up by a white light in an instant, rising slowly. Then, he flew in the direction of the mausoleum and disappeared before reaching the mausoleum. It seems that Mo Shanghua is not surprised by this situation. She suddenly forms a fa seal in her hand. Her power is not as powerful as Yan Beiqing's, and she can't even see a trace of spiritual power. However, for some unknown reason, the invisible boundary suddenly seems to be dyed. It slowly starts from the center of the sky, with a faint white light, and all of it shows up in front of people. To the naked eye, we can only see a pale white hemisphere like a thin film. At this time, it is still not over, and then, it is the same point. The bright red veins like blood grow all over the eyes, but in a moment, the whole border will be covered. Finally, the vein like a line of division, the entire border will be completely divided, fracture slowly emitting a light red light. Bang! A huge sound reverberates in my ears, and the boundary is completely broken into pieces, returning to nothingness. However, what Mo Shanghua didn't expect was that at the moment when the border turned into nothingness, the original clear sky suddenly darkened, and the strong wind rose everywhere. The entrance of the mausoleum, which had not been blocked by the border, suddenly appeared as a tear-like black hole. Mo Shanghua Maoguang microcoagulation, return to Yan Beiqing's side, hold the other hand of small think boat. Yan Beiqing's pupils shrank in an instant. He leaned over and hugged Zayasizu into his arms. The other empty hand grasped the hand of Mo Shanghua and turned quickly. Something happened here. We must leave quickly. Before the words came out, it was like a monster who would eat people when I got to Hayes Cave. A very strong suction suddenly engulfed the three members of their family. Then, all the places in front of our eyes turned into darkness. There was thunder all over our body. Near our eyes, there were bright and dazzling lightning. Mo Shanghua was full of amazement, which she could not imagine in any way. Isn't this the entrance to Wuxian clan? We were cheated. Mo Shanghua has an idea in her heart. As soon as she spits out her words, she suddenly has a huge suction all over her body, which makes her light and weightless. She floats in the air and rushes into the endless darkness with a suction. Yan Beiqing tightly grasped the hand of Mo Shanghua and looked at him with red eyes. Hold on to me. The other hand is to firmly grasp the boat. Fortunately, although Zayasizu was already flustered at the moment, he was not totally unreasonable. He held Yan Beiqing's arm tightly in his hands and cried in his tender voice, "Mother, you should hold fast." It was so dark here that I couldn't see anything, but the wind from nowhere blew off Yan Beiqing's hair crown, and his long hair was suddenly scattered, swaying around by the strong wind and sticking tightly to his face. But on the handsome face covered by hair, a pair of phoenix eyes were covered with blood, and the pupils were faintly covered with a touch of pale gold. The hair on the street was also blown disorderly, and the suction behind her was so strong that she had to let go of the people in front of her almost at any time. A dazzling flash of lightning passed by, and then the darkness was restored all around again, and there was a constant storm and thunder in my ears. I won't let you go. Mo Shanghua tried her best to shout out, but her ears began to hum. Yan Beiqing seemed to be talking again, but she didn't really listen. I don't know why, just like being struck by lightning, my hands suddenly became numb, and my consciousness disappeared for a moment, and my strength relaxed slowly at any time. It was dark before her eyes. Hazy, she seems to return to the chaos of 100 years ago. Day and night, year and year. Waiting for her, only the long and extreme unknown darkness. Just this time, there was no company with him. In the chaos of consciousness, the flowers on the street feel as if a touch of white appeared in front of them. She was conscious in an instant, and suddenly widened her eyes. Her eyes were fixed on the man tightly. It's you, Ning Zhizhi. In the darkness, Ning Tongji was dressed in a clean and incomparable white robe, and her lips were still filled with a light smile, as if she had seen all the eyes in the world and looked at her faintly. It's you, it's you. What are you going to do? Mo Shanghua stares at Ning Tongji and wants to get close to him, but he can't move as if he is in a vacuum. He is in the dark. Ning knew that he didn't explain and didn't know what method he used. He floated directly in front of her and grabbed her by the wrist. Suddenly, there was a dazzling white light in front of her. Mo Shanghua fell into a coma. There was a noise in my ears, as if I was in a busy city. Mo Shanghua opens her eyes and looks blankly at the blue sky in front of her. Wake up, wake up. Wait a minute, I just called 120. What can I do? Whatever, let's go, let's go, let's go. 120. Mo Shanghua is at a loss again in her heart. She covers her painful head and sits up. Her eyes sweep around. At this moment, she is stunned on the spot. The high-rise buildings, the endless stream of cars, the people wearing simple and cool clothes around, and the simplified characters before the shops all boast that this is not the kingdom of God, but the 21st century where she has lived for more than 20 years. She's back. Mo Shanghua looked down at her clothes, which were the same as when she was in the kingdom of God. She raised her hand and touched her hair. The waterfall like long hair and the touch of the skin are her body in the kingdom of God. She not only came back, but also came back with this body. But what about Yanbei City? What about Zayasizu? Mo Shanghua thought about everything, quickly stood up, eyes swept around a circle. However, there are no two familiar faces except for the pedestrians in a hurry and the fast-passing traffic. Yes, they were separated in the turbulence. It was Ning Tongji who brought her back, but why did he do it? Where did Yan Beicheng and her son go? Will it be involved in other world by turbulence? At the thought of this possibility, Mo Shanghua could hardly control her mood. Her heart was beating rapidly at a violent speed, her throat was suffering, and her mood almost collapsed. Except for Yunwu, the most important and even more important people in her life are disappearing before her eyes. Think of this possibility, she almost can't help squatting down, 2 hands into the hair, fingers can't help shaking. Are you all right? At this time, a clear voice suddenly sounded in the head. Mo Shanghua just raised her head, but on the other hand, there was a pretty clean man's face. At the moment, he was leaning slightly, looking at her with concern. However, how to look at this face is somewhat similar to Ning Tongji. On the street Flower Heart suddenly surged this possibility, suddenly stand up, eyes red staring at the person in front of him, a pull off his collar, rather no, what do you want to do? No matter how rational people are, they will collapse in the face of the present situation. The man was concerned about the eyes suddenly changed, lips filled with a light smile, you need to calm down. That put on smile to stimulate Mo Shanghua eyes more red, but the cheek is a pale, bloodless. For a long time, she released the man's skirt, closed her eyes and forced herself to calm down. At present, she is still wearing a simple ancient dress, which is already eye-catching. If she is making some radical moves, she will be regarded as a mental illness in a short time. Mo Shanghua's idea just passed, and then he saw a car suddenly stopped by the side of the road. After getting off the car, the medical staff looked around, as if they were looking for someone. Thinking of the words when he just woke up, Mo Shanghua immediately turned around and wanted to leave directly. After thinking about it, he turned around and dragged the man together, hiding behind the bus stop sign for the time being. When the sound of 120 cars whistle gradually goes away, Mo Shanghua takes a deep breath and looks at the person in front of him coldly. It was also at this time that she noticed that the man in front of her had crisp short hair, modern white shirt and a slightly similar face to Ning Zhizhi, which was quite different from Ning Zhizhi in her memory. Is only a little bit similar, but the look on his face, eyes, flowers on the street remember clearly, it is impossible to admit wrong. This person must be Ning Tongji. Better know. Mo Shanghua tried to restrain his emotions and said calmly, I don't care what reasons you come up with. In a word, I won't believe it. You just need to tell me what your purpose is and where Yan Beicheng got them. Ning knows to turn a mao to see the direction around, and then looked at the slightly embarrassed Mo Shanghua in front of me, light way, if I really want to put you how, now will not appear here, I have said, you need to calm down. Pause, eyes in her body swept a circle. Mo Shanghua drooped his eyes and took a look at his own dress. He pressed down the surging emotion in his heart for the time being. Good, in order to stay out of the limelight, Mo Shanghua went on the stage and chose a modern t-shirt and trousers to replace them. As for paying the bill, he was naturally in charge of it. After all, he contributed to all this, and the stranger would not be polite to him. Wait for the moment to tidy up. Mo Shanghua just went to a coffee shop with Ning Tongji. At that time, Mo's hang flower had been replaced with simple modern clothes, and its waterfall-like waist-long hair was lost in the back of my mind, which was fresh and neat. However, she was not in the mood to pay attention at this time. Ning knows where Yanbei City and Suzhou have gone. You must give me an explanation. At the mention of Yanbei City and Zayasizu, Mo Shanghua's mood was uncontrollable and excited. Suddenly lost love, is back to the previous world. She will not have any expectations, happy, only more painful. She would rather never come back to this world than be separated from Yan Suzhou forever. Ning knew that she didn't seem to see her cold face. She was still indifferent to life and death. Don't you want to know what this is all about? In that case, I'll let you know. I don't want to hear that now. The flower eyes on the street are like ice skates. They fall on Ning Tongji coldly. The temperature all around seems to fall. Ning knew it, but he didn't answer. He still said to himself, in fact, the Wuxian clan was destroyed 100 years ago. There is no Wuxian clan in the world. There are only some Qingyue clan in the far north. The original seal of the border can lead to the far north. Just open a temporary entrance to the border. After a pause, he continued, it's just that there is an extremely unstable space crack. You use the secret method to directly break the boundary, and then you will be inhaled into the space crack. You're right. I made it happen. Mo Shanghua's beautiful cheek became more and more heavy with Ning Tongji's words. His lips were tight and he didn't say a word. Rather knowing and seeing this, he continued, as for Yan Beicheng, his strength has been awakened a lot. Your son is not a body. He will never be okay. Mo Shanghua's tight lips loosened for a while, then whispered, have they fallen into the space of ignorance now? Ning knew that there was something profound in his eyes. 3,000 worlds are not empty words. Go to the 3,000 worlds of TM. Mo Shanghua suddenly stood up and grasped the edge of the table tightly with both hands. The blue veins on the back of her hands burst up. What's your purpose in the end? Her movement is so big that people around her look at her, but because of her evil spirit, no one dares to dissuade her. Rather no, and Mo Shanghua lift eye to eye, a pair of quiet eyes within half a wave also no. Mo Shanghua stares at Ning Tongji, his calm eyes reflect her appearance at the moment. Crazy, angry, embarrassed. This is not what she was. Mo Shanghua bit her lip hard, and a rusty smell spread in her mouth. Her almost confused thoughts gradually cleared up, and she sat back again. Ning Tong sighed and stood up. His gentle voice rang out as he turned around. This world will never let you come. When you calm down, you can see the person you want to see. The flowers on the street closed their eyes and gently closed their lips. It's getting dark outside, and there are fewer and fewer guests in the hall. At that time, the only person in the hall was Mo Shanghua, who sat with his eyes closed for a day. The waiter looked at the time on the clock on the wall and came forward slightly apologetically, excuse me, miss. It's 11:30 now. We're going to close here. Mo Shanghua just looked up, glanced at the clean shirt of the waiter, and then got up to leave. If you are in the kingdom of God, you will have fallen asleep. But this is the 21st century. In addition to the closing of day shops, there are still a large number of night industries. The real night life has just begun. Mo Shanghua glanced blankly at the still brightly lit street. Everything in front of her seemed familiar and strange. For a long time, her chaotic thoughts gradually became clear. One day is enough time for her to calm down completely and be safe. Now it's certain that Yan Beicheng and Xiao Xizhou have fallen into a different world, and Ning knows that there must be something else in their words. In this world, what can make her come in vain? Could it be that, a thought suddenly appeared in my heart, and Mo Shanghua's heart beat violently, and his lips were even tighter. She must adapt to the modern life as soon as possible, not to be so decadent. Mo Shanghua found a passerby on the street to inquire about the current situation. She is now in the city where she was when she was a doctor of medicine in her previous life, but now it is 5 years after she crossed the kingdom of God. She has been in the kingdom of God for only 4 years. I didn't expect that she had been in this place for so many years. But that's not the dilemma she's facing now. When she was in the kingdom of God, she was worn by the soul, but now she is worn by the whole person. Today, she has no identity or money in modern times. In her previous life, she was a medical doctor of the strongest special combat brigade, but her body had long died in that explosion, and there was no skeleton left, so there was a theory of crossing. So, what should we do now? The flower on the street, frowning and thinking carefully, can't help but scold Ning. Why don't you help her solve these problems temporarily? Anyway, she had to find a way to settle down first. Modern times are full of people. It's not convenient to spend money on the street, and there's no money on her. As a result, she can only walk to an apartment she bought in the city in her previous life by memory. She has no father or mother. She was an orphan before. She wanted to make a will, but there was no one to make. I don't know what to do with this property. No matter what, we should have a look at it anyway. Mo Shanghua left the thoughts in her mind for the time being, calmed down and walked out of the elevator. In the past 5 years, many parts of the urban area have changed a lot. Fortunately, this residential area has not changed much. The most comforting thing for Mo Shanghua is that this apartment belongs to a high-end apartment. The door locks are all fingerprint identification, and it doesn't matter if there is no key. After she crossed to the kingdom of God, the original owner looked the same as her, but I don't know if her fingerprints are the same. Mo Shanghua pondered for a while, pointing the index finger at the location of fingerprint identification. The red light on the smart lock flashes once, indicating that the fingerprint identification is wrong. Mo Shanghua tightens her lips, reaches out her hand and touches it in her pocket. Then she remembers that her hairpin has been lost in the space crack. Looking at the door in front of her, she felt helpless and angry. After thinking about it, she simply turned around and went to the security room downstairs. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. The security guard in the security room is lying on the bed, sleeping very heavily. She knocked a few times but didn't answer. Mo Shanghua was patient and continued to look at the door of the security room. The security guard in the room got up impatiently and opened the door with a few words of abuse. However, after seeing the beautiful and aloof Mo Shanghua in front of her eyes, she couldn't help swallowing her saliva. She immediately changed her face, raised a smile that she thought was handsome, and said, "Miss, what are you doing in my security room in the middle of the night?" The frown on the street, slightly invisible frown for a while, forced to endure. The heart is not happy, face expressionless, mouth, "I lost my mobile phone, to borrow your mobile phone to call the property." The security guard had no doubt. Like Xianbao, he handed her his mobile phone. "Please use it, please use it." Mo Shanghua took the mobile phone, some unfamiliar to open the interface, according to the wall property phone call in the past. At this time, she didn't answer the call for a long time, but she was very patient and kept fighting over and over again. After a long time, a man's voice rang. "Hello. I'm a resident here. I think there's a thief in my house. Now the door is locked. I need you to come at once." The flower on the road can only consider a bit, the face is not red, the mouth of gasping. Listening to the beautiful voice of the woman over there, as well as such strong words, the man over there suddenly sat down on the bed, with a slight urgency in his voice. "Miss, you haven't been hurt at present, have you? Did you call the police? Is there no one going to the security room?" As he spoke, he quickly dressed with his free hand. Mo Shanghua's eyes twinkled slightly, and her face did not change. "I'm in the security room now." I've already called the police, and my key has been locked inside. Please find a locksmith by the way. The people over there answered quickly, but before they could ask which resident it was, they already hung up. Mo Shanghua returned the mobile phone to the security guard, looking at him faintly. Can I sit for a while? Of course. The security guard immediately pulled away the chair. Just after that, he seemed to think of something and looked at her strangely. Miss, aren't you in a hurry? Then he picked up his baton and walkie-talkie and said, why don't I have a look with you first? Other brothers should be here at this time. I'll call some hands. Don't worry. We're sure to keep you safe. Mo Shanghua raised her eyes and glanced at the security guard. Her eyes were indifferent, without the slightest emotional ups and downs. No, I called the police. Clearly just a light look. I do not know why. The security in the heart of inexplicable shake. Chadup put down the baton. It took about half an hour for the door of the security room to knock again. Mo Shanghua turned to see a man in a loose t-shirt, shorts, slippers and unkempt face standing at the door of the security room, knocking eagerly on the door. The security guard opened the door. His eyes fell on the face of indifferent Flowers sitting in the security room, panting. Miss, did you just call me? What's the situation now? Do you have anything to do? Mo Shanghua stands up. Mao Guang sweeps a circle on the man's body, eyebrow light frown. You alone? The man shook the toolbox in his hand, covered his belly with his other hand, and said, this is okay. Let's go. Mo Shanghua nodded slightly and walked out directly. The security guard also picked up the baton and walkie-talkie and said, I'll help too. Di Yan, who hasn't slowed down the coming qi, is powerless to follow. After waiting for people to get on the elevator, Di Yan remembered later and asked, where's the police? Are they coming? Mo Shanghua pressed the floor and didn't answer. Security is also confused, do not understand the eyes to see Flowers on the street. Miss, the police have not yet arrived? Speaking of this, he suddenly remembered that Mo Shanghua had said that her mobile phone was lost before she came to borrow it from him. How did she call the police? Just want to say the question in the heart. The stranger Flower not cold not light eyes swept over, don't know why, he came to the mouth of the words born blocked. Just at this time, the elevator has reached the floor where it is, and the Flowers on the street go out first. After the two people come out, they walk to the door of their residence and say, here it is. Open the door first. Di Yan squatted down without any doubt and opened the toolbox in his hand. The security guard took a look at the door number, but his face was strange, and said, this door number. He seemed to suddenly think of something, and immediately stepped back with vigilance. No, I heard that this family has not come back for 5 years, and you have not called the police at all. Who are you? What do you want to do? Di Yan, also surprised, raised his head, looked at the Flowers on the street, and looked at the security. Bang, put away the toolbox, back to the security side. Miss, please speak clearly. Mo Shanghua didn't panic. Her face was light. She didn't look like a thief. I'm a resident here. I'll know as soon as I check the property. On the face of it, in fact, she was a little nervous. She didn't know how to deal with the property now. The security guard was still a little unconvinced, holding a baton, a face of vigilance. Impossible, although I'm new, but you, this little trick can't cheat me. Now the cross-dressing is so developed, who knows if you are a man pretending. What cross-dressing technology? Mo Flower lips slightly invisible gently twitch. Where does she look like a man? Don't make any noise. I'll find out if it's true. Di Yan's eyes in the street Flower calm beautiful face swept an eye, don't know why, is to the woman in front of inexplicable have a good bit of trust. With this in mind, he stepped forward to the door and operated on the password lock with one hand. On the opposite wall, a large screen was suddenly projected. The most prominent on the screen was the picture of Flowers on the street, as well as a household information. It as like as 2 peas before crossing. Mo Shanghua's slightly clenched fists are quietly loosened. Her eyes are shining slightly, and she feels surprised in her heart. It's only 5 years, and now there are such devices. And when was the projection installed? The security guard on one side was embarrassed after seeing the specific information clearly. Di Yan was obviously relieved. Then he turned around and looked at the flowers with a sorry face. "I'm sorry, miss. We didn't mean it. It's just that you do show that it's been vacant for 5 years. Uncle Bowen, brother is a little nervous." The security guard is also full of apologies. Mo Shanghua nodded slightly, indicating that he accepted, and then used his chin to point the direction of the door lock. Di Yan immediately come over, busy squat down again, open toolbox search. After a while, I found out a square and complicated mechanical thing. After putting it on the door lock, another key came out of the machine. The flowers on the street are secretly frightened. They can't help but sigh in their heart. Is the technology really developing so fast now? With the key, it's not difficult to unlock the door. Just, Di Yan also think about the thief, handsome face a little bit hesitant, and then like the determination in the eyes, put the key in. At the time of opening the door, he took the baton of the security guard and ran in with a random wave. The security guard also pinched the walkie-talkie in his hand and followed in nervously. However, there was nothing but darkness and silence in the room. Mo Shanghua came in after 2 people and turned on the light. No one lived in the house for 5 years. The house was full of dust. She wiped it on the tea table with her hand, and her body was black. The security guard did not return to his senses, and his face was surprised. "What's the matter?" Di Yan, who was also in a daze for a while, first came back to his mind. He glanced at the security guard and said, "We all know that people haven't come back for 5 years. Don't you understand? It's clear that I haven't come back for 5 years, and I can't get into the prescription, so I casually find an excuse to find someone to unlock the lock." The security guard can't help flashing some anger on his face when he hears the speech. However, when he glances at Hua Hua's indifferent eyes on the street, he looks back, turns around and walks out. "It's my bad luck." Then he closed the door and went down. Di Yan in the hand still holds that guard's baton, at the moment complexion also some not very good. Seeing this, the flower on the street simply put down some slight depression in her heart and said, "I don't have any money on me. I can't help it. I can't help you. Wrong is wrong." Even if she is proud, she will not admit her mistake. Di Yan's complexion eased a little, then frowned again. "How can you talk so queer?" Mo Shanghua was surprised to find that she was used to the way of speaking when she was in the kingdom of God. Di Yan just now in the outside also a pair of mediocre appearance, but at the moment I don't know how, the mind is particularly sharp, your body's breath is also some wrong, isn't it? The flower eyes on the street raised a little vigilance, stepped back a few steps. "What do you mean?" Di Yan narrowed his eyes and stared at the flowers on the street for a moment. Then, his words were amazing. "I want to fight with you." Flowers on the street, I don't know why, she felt strange when she didn't beat her. However, it does not mean that she is in the mood to waste time with the people in front of her. Mo Shanghua directly came forward to open the door, and said with no expression, "I'm going to have a rest, please." Di Yan but as if can't see the action of the flower on the street, full-faced disgust of looking at the room full of dust. "Can you still live in this room?" Mo Shanghua's eyes not good glanced at the person in front of him, and his lips slightly picked. "Do you need me to complain about you now?" No need, excuse me." Di Yan immediately as was trampled on the tail, received the full face of disgust. "Don't have to repeat," automatically went out. Mo Shanghua was about to close the door, but Di Yan, who had left, came in again. "My name is Di Yan. If you have anything to do, there is my contact information under the community." Mo Flower eyes flashed a touch of impatience, raised his hand will close the door. Di Yan busy head back. "Do not forget to add a sentence, Mo Miss Good Night, do not casually complain." With the door slamming shut, will also Di Yan's voice completely blocked out. Looking at the room still full of dust in front of me, I went to my bedroom and found my ID card, bank card, mobile phone and other things. After checking, my mobile phone was not damaged except the power. So I took these things out of the door. Fortunately, the deposit in the bank card is still there. Mo Shanghua can finally find a hotel to stay and rest for a while. The identity of her previous life is to be kept secret, so she has two identities. One is a doctor of medicine, which is used to walk around the base, and the other is just an ordinary citizen. She is often placed in a private apartment, which is not commonly used. I didn't expect that she really didn't have a useful day. However, her two identities were handled under the above instructions. Her previous life was clearly dead in the explosion. Why didn't these identities be cancelled? Is it better to know? There are Yan Beiqing and Xia Sizu. How are they now? What else is worth her coming in this era? A series of questions surged into my heart, like a thread without a head, wrapping her whole body, almost breathless. With such heavy thoughts, even if she was temporarily settled down, she still couldn't sleep. It was not until noon the next day that she went to sleep with her eyes full of green shadows. The speed of modern science and technology is amazing. After waking up at night, she began to understand the development of science and technology and life in the past 5 years. It's not that she has nothing to do, but that if she wants to quickly reintegrate into modern society, and if she wants to settle down temporarily, she must reintegrate. No matter what the current situation of Yan Xizhou in Yanbei City is, she must cheer up and think that her depression will only drag her into the abyss. Beiqing, Xizhou, Yunwu, no matter what, I will find you. Mo Shanghua calmed down. With this idea, she stayed at home for another day to understand the current social development. Today's society is very different from that before her crossing, and even develops rapidly. A lot of small technology products have been integrated into people's lives. Code scanning, payment, intelligent recognition, are extremely fast and convenient. However, the thing with the key held by Di Yan of that property last night has not been released in the world. It should not be owned by ordinary people. I'm afraid it's not simple. And the security guard said casually last night that she was suspected to be a cross-dresser. It seems to be a modern advanced technology, which can change its appearance at will according to the way it wants. At present, it is still in the hands of a high-level enterprise, and it is not affordable for ordinary people. Most importantly, though, it doesn't seem to be on the market yet. A strong intuition suddenly emerged in my heart. The flower on the street sat up straight, and her eyes were tiny. Looks like she needs to go back to her apartment. Think of here, don't stop, quickly get up to the apartment. To the apartment, she did not go home, but went straight to the property, named to find Di Yan. The lady at the front desk didn't ask much, so she went to inform Di Yan to come. This Dian looks handsome and handsome. There are always young ladies and sisters coming to look for her. The front desk ladies are used to it. Di Yan did not let Mo Shanghua wait for a long time. Different from yesterday's slovenly image, today's Dian has put on a formal suit, and appears to be more mature and handsome. Miss Mo, it's you. See, let him deep impression of Mo Shanghua. Di Yan lip side show a polite smile. Mo Shanghua's expressionless glance at Di Yan in front of him said, "Don't you want to fight? Right now." Now. Di Yan some surprised pick eyebrow, face quite some embarrassed, but, I'm still at work. Oh. Mo Shanghua light should be a body, turn around and go, voice slightly raised, then you go to help me see the door lock, seems to be replaced. It's the door lock again. It's time to find another one. Di Yan heart silently vomit a sentence, go back to make complaints about, just hurriedly catch up. Just closed the door, Di Yan haven't had time to speak, Mo Shanghua face to face is a fist attack. Di Yan's pupil shrinks, so he dodges. Mo Shanghua continues to fight. Di Yan did not dare to relax, quickly hit the whole body of the spirit to deal with. The more he hit, the more frightened he was. It was clear that he was just a beautiful woman in front of him, but he didn't lose everything in strength and speed. Even, there was a hint of strength that he hadn't touched. As for the strange and familiar power of the previous induction, I can't see it at all. However, even if he can see some tricks, it doesn't mean that he can beat the people in front of him. However, after more than 10 minutes of fighting, he gradually became a little bit unable to hold on, with a thin sweat on his forehead. No, if it goes on like this, he can't find out anything. Think of here, Di Yen Mao color is more serious, gas sink Dan field between, on the hands slightly used some slight spirit power. Sure enough. Mo Shanghua seems to have expected that, as soon as the spiritual power in his hand has just been urged, she has grasped his weakness and directly dodged around him, then kicked his knee. Di Yen really wants to hide, but his speed is obviously not as fast as Mo Shanghua. The next moment, Mo Shanghua has already taken advantage of this opportunity to twist his arm with his backhand and force him to kneel on the ground. What is your skill? It's not like psychic power at all. Di Yen does not have the slightest unconvinced move, especially curious try to turn to ask. Mo Shanghua did not answer, but suddenly got into his armpit, across a layer of suit shirt. I do not know what to grasp. Originally also face no different color. Di Yen instant face changed greatly. The next moment, an amazing scene happened in front of Mo Shanghua. In front of his eyes, he was a handsome young man with a height of 1 meter and 8 meters, but his figure was shrinking in an instant, and he became a 7 or 8-year-old boy who only went to the street. The boy's eyes are delicate, his lips are red and his teeth are white. If you look closely, it seems that he is just a miniature of the tall and handsome youth. It's just that this dress is obviously not a miniaturized version. The shrinking of his body led to the collapse of his original suit. The suit coat dropped directly to his knees, while his trousers fell directly. Along with it fell a round object tied to the shoulder. The shoulder strap is very thin, and it seems that it will not be found if it is close to the skin. The round object is only half the size of a fist, less than 1 centimeter thick. It will never be easy to find if it is hidden under the armpit. What's more familiar is that the surface of this thing seems to be metal. It's light and not rigid. What's more important is that there is some fluctuation of spiritual power in it. No pants of Di Yen, less than palm big white face has been red as cooked shrimp, but a Mo Shanghua picked up the thing, or very nervous to reach for enough. You give me back the thing. Mo Shanghua simply lifts that thing high. Di Yan's height just reaches Mo Shanghua's waist, and he can't reach it at all. His little face suddenly turns red and black. He almost gnashed his teeth, young age, but it is difficult to flash in the eyes of a bit of cold. Back to me. Give it back, of course. Mo Shanghua held the thing in one hand, lowered his eyes and said, Tell me, why does this thing have spiritual power injection? Di Yen immediately stopped. Slightly baby fat face on a solemn, with the previous appearance of that adult is clearly two people. Mo flower Mao light micro turn, also not anxious to ask, so light drooping eyes looking at him, waiting for his mouth. At a young age, he can disguise himself. Unfortunately, there are always some flaws. He inadvertently reveals that he is just a child. Di Yen seemed to be tangled for a long time, then he looked up at the flowers on the street and said, Since you can tear them down, you should also know that it's the product developed by Di, one of the 4 families. The 4 families were originally the Guwu family. What's so strange about Huilingli? At this point, he turned his mouth, and his eyes were a little proud. Besides, this thing was originally developed by me in combination with some things. If my father didn't agree to go on the market, how could my young master personally wear it out and prove it to him? 4 families. D's? In recent days, we have enough information to know about the 4 families, and we are not surprised at the moment. The only surprise was the little boy in front of him. Mo Shanghua squats down and returns that thing to Di Yen again, saying, You are very young, but you have quite a bit of ability. Di Yen quite some reserve AO of slightly raised chin, then want to take that thing back again. Mo Shanghua pressed his hand, and his eyes swept around his bare legs. Are you sure you want to take it now? Di Yen is very shy when she is young, and her face turns red again. The flowers on the street flash slightly, and suddenly think of Zayasizu. Xiao Xizhou is only 3 years old now. Sometimes he doesn't speak very clearly, but he is always a little kid. Just like his father, he always wants to be an upright man. He is so cute. She was disappointed at the thought. Di Yen takes that thing in hand. Nu Nuzui, Wei, you haven't said, why do you know spirit power? As far as I know, few people in this world can know about it except for our 4 Guwu families. What's more, why can I only feel a little of your spiritual power occasionally? She has just gathered qi in the kingdom of God. She can let the spiritual power circulate in her body at most. She has no other ability and can't feel it all the time. Mo Shanghua sighed silently in her heart, and there was no difference on her face. You are young, and your spiritual power is low, so you can't feel it naturally. What did you just use? Is it the legendary internal power? Dian, like Zayasizu, seems to have endless questions. Since Di Yan said frankly, Mo Shanghua simply admitted, it's true. Di Yan brow some tangled twist into a ball, staring at the flowers on the street for a long time, and then said, why are you missing for 5 years? On the street flower Mao bottom cluster ran across a touch of dim, voice cold down, with you what? Di Yan seems to find that he asked a little more, so he turned his head. Mo Shanghua's eyes flashed over his trousers that fell to the ground. After thinking about it, he said, I need to clean up here. I'm asking someone to send you a suit of clothes. Di Yan immediately full face unwilling, but looked at his present appearance, or default down. Called hourly workers to clean up the apartment, Mo Shanghua, and forced to carry Di Yan to the mall to buy a fit of children's wear. I don't know why, it's a child who has no blood relationship with him, but looking at Di Yan dressed neatly in front of him, Mo Shanghua feels a little relieved, as if this is his own child. It is Di Yan, clenched in the hand of that can be for him to become adult-like utensils, small mouth slightly pursed. Mo Shanghua came forward to help him sort out his clothes, and then went to settle the account. Then he squatted down and said, okay, now I'll take you home. I'm not going back. Di Yan is like to be sent to the den, frowning and protesting, my experiment has not been completed yet. Mo Shanghua looked down at her and said, if you really care about your experiment, you won't come out with me. Her eyes are full of light, and she seems to be able to see through all people's thoughts. Di Yan's voice immediately lowered down, a long time, just wait, I don't know why. Originally, he didn't want to, but he didn't know why. At first, he was resisting. Later, he didn't know how to come out with her. It was clear that she was the most stubborn and her parents couldn't help him. Mo Shanghua suddenly reached out and pinched his baby's fat cheek. His eyes were a little dim and his lips were silent. Di Yan, he was confused and angry, but he didn't know why he couldn't get angry when he saw the flower on the street. The little adult came forward and said, do you remember something unhappy? The flowers on the street just shook their heads, and their eyes faded away, leaving only their eyes full of indifference. I don't have to send you back. Di Yan has not had time to be happy, just listen to her and continue, but I want to see your family. Di Yan, no matter how precocious he was still puzzled by the woman's contradictory ideas. Why do you have to see my family? Di Yan frowned, in other words, what's your purpose? In this respect, Dian is quite defensive. At a young age, I know a lot. Mo Shanghua li Di Yan one eye, in the heart also quite a bit surprised. Di Yan raised his chin slightly, and his pride was as if he was born with it. Mo Shanghua seems to see his resolute attitude, simply get up and go out, just, since you don't want to, I'm trying to find a way. Di Yan thought that Mo Shanghua was just deliberately using such a method to stimulate him. Unexpectedly, she didn't turn her head back. He couldn't control it, so he called out, stop. Flowers on the street, if you don't hear it, still press the elevator door. Di Yan, quite some annoyed bit to bite teeth, hurriedly stepped a pair of small short legs to chase past. However, the elevator door closed before he arrived, and he had to wait for the next one. When Di Yan was out of breath, she was sitting in a milk tea shop on the first floor facing the elevator exit, drinking a cup of milk tea in one hand. See him come, Mo Shanghua will hand another cup in the past, said, this is for you, children should prefer to drink yogurt. I'm not a kid. Di Yan did not answer, culled a small walk toward the mall. It seems that a precocious child like him doesn't like to be called a child. In addition to the small boat, Mo Shanghua has no patience to coax the children, but now I don't know why, very calmly and patiently walking behind Di Yan, not slow to follow. Small Di Yan also won't stop, so taught a not to take off baby fat face, toward a direction then walk. Which nerve was touched? Children are hard to coax. However, it is impossible for the child to go on the street like this. Besides, this is also the key to whether she can find a way to go back. No matter what, she can't let him have an accident. I totally forget that this is a genius who can develop small technology by himself, disguise himself as an adult and live together with adults for a few days. I thought that the child's anger was just a matter of a while, but Mo Shanghua didn't expect that the child walked so obstinately for half an hour. Until he came to the high building, he pressed his lips tightly and refused to open his mouth. The flower on the street clearly saw the sign on the building. D's Corporation. The child, after all, came with her. Mo Shanghua's mood is a little complicated at the moment. She squats down, puts her hand on Di Yan's small thin shoulder, slows down her voice as much as possible, and says, I really want to use your mind, but to tell you the truth, there are some feelings that I can't say. In a word, I really have something important. After a pause, she breathed out, it's more important than my life. Yan Beicheng, Yan Xizhou, and Yunwu are all more important than her life in her eyes. She had nothing else to wish for, and no matter what method she used, she must find a way to find them. Di Yan young age, but as if can understand the words of flowers on the same, eyes revealed a bit of deep thinking. I was about to open my mouth when something happened. Dozens of men in black clothes and trousers suddenly surrounded them. Now it's evening. It's getting dark. It's the peak of the evening, but it's obvious that the number of pedestrians is decreasing. No one dares to get close to them or look at them more. A man in a suit came slowly, surrounded by people in black. He has a handsome face, but his face is as cold as a blade. Especially when he sees the intimacy between Mo Shanghua and Di Yan, he gets colder and colder. Di Yan, come here. Di Yan see a man, his more taut mouth refused to open. But if you look carefully, you can find that there are some similarities between the eyebrows and eyes of two men. Mo Shanghua is clear in the heart, pulling Di Yan to stand up, are you Di Yan's father? When Di Xing, a cool man, hears the words, he glances at the delicate face of the flower in the street and looks back at Di Yan, do you know how worried your mother is about you? You're going to come home with me anyway today. Di Yan's slightly fleshy face taut more tight, a hand quietly pulling the corner of the flower, pretending to calm the mouth, I come today is to go back, otherwise I won't let you find me. But I also have demands. Di Xing black face looked at one eye, he tightly tugged at the corner of the flower, say, what do you want in the end? This word is to say to Mo Shanghua. Mo Shanghua calmed down and looked at Di Xing calmly, as if he was not afraid. Mr. Di Xing should know that it's not suitable to talk here. Di Xing stared at the flowers on the street for a moment, then nodded coldly, okay. Obviously, at the moment in Di Xing's eyes, Mo Shanghua impressively is to control little Di Yan firmly in the hand, not to achieve the goal will not easily let people go. 10 minutes later, Mo Shanghua was invited into the president's office, while Di Yan was always with her, like a small tail. Di Xing's cold eyes looked at the flowers sitting on the street opposite him and said, he's staying with you these days? The tone of questioning made Mo Shanghua very unhappy and frowned, I have known him for a long time, and I didn't use your son to do anything. I just have some questions to ask. Go ahead, please. Di Xing's eyes crossed with a touch of vigilance, and his face was not good. At that time, he would never have thought that the person in front of him was a woman whom he could not afford to offend. Mo Shanghua's eyes swept around Di Yan's face and said, I want to know what origin you have with mainland China. The person in front of her is obviously from tomorrow. She really doesn't have to beat around the bush. Sure enough, Di Xing's face changed the next second, and there was a flash of surprise in his eyes. Even Di Yan frowned tightly, turned his head and looked at her in surprise. I never told you, why do you know? Mo Shanghua didn't explain. She stared at Di Xing in front of her eyes. Di Xing quickly settled down and quietly released his mental power to test, but he didn't feel the breath of half-cultivation in her. At the same time, he felt a little uneasy. Many years ago, when his wife, Long Qingai's mother, Yunwu, did not recognize Yunwu on that day, he went on the road of seeking his wife even harder. "Who are you?" Di Xing was nervous in his heart, but he pretended to be calm and relaxed a lot unconsciously. Mo Shanghua has always been keen, and soon caught his unnatural, was about to continue to open, but the closed door was pushed open at this time. "Di Xing, did you find Di Yan?" Long Qingai walked in quickly, and the voice came in before the people arrived. As soon as she entered the house, her eyes fell on the villain sitting opposite Di Xing. She immediately walked over and slapped him on the back of the head. "You stinky boy, you are playing with mom and dad. Do you know how anxious mom is?" Long Qing, who is over 30 years old, is still young because of his cultivation. At a glance, Mo Shanghua felt her strong spiritual power and some strange and familiar problems. She suddenly jumped up in her heart, got up, grabbed her wrist and looked at her with bright eyes. "What's your name?" Long Qingai was startled by the sudden action of Mo Shanghua. She should have been angry, but she didn't know why. Looking at Mo Shanghua's face, she felt a strange feeling in her heart and opened her mouth. "My name is Long Qingai." The flower eyes on the street let go of her hand. Di Xing is already completely uncontrollable, busy to check his wife has just been on the flower tightly hold the wrist, see really read a circle, his face suddenly surged up a bit of anger. "Come on, throw this woman out." At the moment, he did not know that he would pay such a painful price for this sentence in the future. Dragon Qing Love C quickly stopped the impulse of Di Xing. "Wait, you don't worry, things may not be what you think." Di Xing's whole face can be described as black as the bottom of a pot, but he finally obeyed his wife's words and forbeared for a while. Long Qing loves this to be relieved. One breath, turns Mao to see to Mo Shanghua, soft voice Wei. "Who are you? Is you send this smelly boy back?" As he spoke, he subconsciously rubbed his son's hairy hair with his hands. Di Yan young age but extremely not like dragon love such action, black face forbearance did not make a sound to brush open, eyes also closely staring at the flowers on the street. Mo Shanghua was silent for a moment. Deep and quiet water eyes crossed with a touch of deep thinking. After a long time of meditation, he simply asked directly, "Who are you dancing in the clouds?" Long Qingai and Di Xing look at each other, and their faces change. "How can you know my mother?" He said lovingly. "If Dian, who has accepted one of the 4 family industries, is well known, then Yunwu, a young mother, is even more incredible. Therefore, the news about Yunwu has always been kept secret. Even few people know the name of Yunwu." Di Xing was equally surprised. Di Yan touched his sharp little chin and raised his eyes thoughtfully like a little adult. "Originally, you want to see my grandmother." "Your grandmother?" Mo Shanghua Mao Guang suddenly lit up. "A pair of water Mao Yu Xing Hui, cloud dance now. How old?" "She is from mainland China." The look on Di Xing's face became more and more strange. Even Long Qing's love was an expression that could not be expressed. "Age?" The look on Di Xing's face became more and more strange. Even Long Qing's love was an expression that could not be expressed. Cloud dance has been practiced for many years, and now it has been practiced to a level that no one can match. Its appearance has always been kept at the youngest and most beautiful time. They can't tell exactly how old it is. After thinking about it carefully for a long time, Long Qingai selectively ignored the previous question and said, "Mom has been in mainland China for a long time. As for age, mother has already reached the highest level of cultivation. It's hard to say how old she is." This words finish saying, her vision also some inquiry of fall on the stranger flower body. It's not that she's stupid, but that the flowers in front of her face and bones are only about 20 years old. What does it have to do with the ancestral level of Yunwu? But she also had a strange feeling of blood connection in her heart. Is this the daughter of Yunwu and Long Qing? At that time, she had no idea that this young woman was her grandmother. But that's all in the future. The flowers in the street were stunned for a moment when they heard the words. Their hands were shaking violently, and some water appeared in the wood. It's really not that she is too fragile, but Cloud Dance is the existence that she would rather her soul dissipate than protect in her previous life. After 100 years, now she really gets the news from her daughter. How can she not be excited? At the moment, she can't take care of anything. She holds Long Qingai's thin shoulder tightly and stares at her with burning eyes. Where is she now? She could hardly restrain her passionate emotion. Even her hand on Long Qingai's shoulder was still shaking. Being looked at with such eager eyes by the flowers on the street, Long Qingai didn't get angry even half a minute. He was stunned and replied, "Mom and Dad have gone to travel together, and they will come back only once a year. In order to pass the long and boring days, they simply love the dragon and travel around the world all the year round." Mo Shanghua's hand on Long Qingai's shoulder suddenly loosened, and her eyes swept over Long Qingai's pretty face, as well as Di Xing and Di Yan. Then she took her eyes back and murmured in a low voice, "She's good if she's well off." Di Yan raised her small face, which was not big enough to slap, and came up to her, "What's the relationship between you and my grandmother?" Mo Shanghua looks at the little person in front of her, and her eyes are gradually far away. "I'm the mother of Cloud Dance." After a pause, she added softly, "An incompetent mother." These words, like a bolt from the blue, came to the ears of Long Qingai, Di Xing, Di Yan. The three of them looked at the flowers in front of them, who were only about 20 years old. They were completely petrified on the spot. What the hell is this? Long Qingai Dixing and his wife endure the unspeakable shock in their hearts and invite Mo Shanghua back to the private villas of the four families. The four retired old men of the four families were all called over, and Di Xing explained the situation to them. After hearing about the origin of the flower, the four old men were all speechless and looked up and down at the flower with strange eyes. Although Mo Shanghua is young now, the memories of her two previous lives add up to a few hundred years old, which is older than the four old men. As a result, the four old men all kinds of strange eyes, she also safely by it. This aunt, girl. One of the four, the old man with white beard, came forward and said, "Are you really the mother of Yunwu?" Mo Shanghua nodded calmly, and her face had returned to indifference. "I have made it clear that my present body is the one I entered after reincarnation. To be exact, it should not be reincarnation, but it's just crossing into the kingdom of God. For old men, you look at me, I look at you, look at each other for a long time, really cannot find any good solution, simply gritted his teeth to sit another decision." Or the old man with white beard, came forward to the stranger and laughed politely, Girl. He is still not used to the term, girl, which is rather awkward. We really don't know where the in-laws Cloud Dance is going, and we know very little about mainland China. However, our ancestors, that is, Miss Cloud Dance's friends, should be able to give you an answer. Would you like to see them? As a friend of Cloud Dance, it should have some origin with mainland China. Mo Shanghua slightly pondered, then nodded gently, "Okay, I want to see him." As soon as she answered, the four old men were relieved and took the flowers to the place where their ancestors were. Jiuyo has been worshipped here for thousands of years, and now lives in a small space. Not to mention the wonder in this space, it is the rich aura, which has shocked Mo's Hanghuamu. The last time I saw her was 100 years ago. Now she is just a mortal. The flowers on the street laugh at themselves, and their eyes fall in front of them, which is reflected in the verdant classical mansion. This kind of standard is no less than that of King Yu's residence. On the contrary, Mo Shanghua was curious about what kind of person could use such a large amount of money to open up a different space in modern times. However, he could still pour his money to build such a mansion comparable to the regulation of Shenguifan Palace. In the mind idea just falls, a man then appeared miscellaneous in front of her. The man wears a straight and elegant suit. He is thin, tall, and beautiful, but he is masculine. What's more, his breath is mellow and unfathomable. It's a little pleasant to see, and can be a friend of Cloud Dance. Mo Shanghua silently judges in his heart. Seeing that the four old men around him move, he comes forward together. The four old men called their ancestors respectfully in front of the man who was only 20 years old, and then explained the reason of the flowers again. When a person reaches a certain level of cultivation, he will never grow old. Although it is the memory of 100 years ago, the character of Mo Shanghua is just like this. No matter how it is, he will still remain calm. Is 9 You slightly contain a few minutes of prestige and look at a vision cast to come over, she is still at ease, indifferent but stand. Anyway, she doesn't have any accomplishments now. In the eyes of people, she is just an ordinary person. What's so terrible? Naturally, she was not embarrassed by the fact that the person in front of her was younger than herself. This bearing is quite similar to cloud dance. If we look at it from the aspect of appearance, the appearance of Mo's Hang Walajing 3 has no resemblance to Yunwu, so it is indistinguishable. Joyo looks carefully, and then listens to the four old men tell the cause and effect of the flower in the street. Then he completely believes it. You go back first. Joyo waved to the four old men, turned his eyes and said politely, please come in. The four old men had no objection at all and went on in a hurry. Mo Shanghua, at the invitation of Joyo, strides in. There was also a young and beautiful woman in the room. Seeing the flowers coming in, she gave her a friendly smile and went down to prepare tea. Sit down, please. Facing Yunwu's mother, Joyo is very polite. The flower nodded his thanks, and then sat down opposite Joyo. Mo Shanghua doesn't want to be a person who likes to beat around the bush. He directly opens the door to the mountain and says, I heard that you are also from mainland China, and I know that cloud dance can't come back for a moment, so now I just want to ask you, what can I do to help me return to my original world? When she spoke, her hands unconsciously clenched into fists and her eyes looked forward to it. Since she can wait for Yunwu here, she doesn't have to worry about it anymore. The most urgent task now is how to find Yan Beiqing and his son. These two people are more important than his life. 9 You obviously don't know the identity of Yan Beiqing, and the most important purpose of Mo Shanghua, a little ponder, Wei, 3000 world, all living beings, want to pass through the broken space to reach a place is difficult, but also specific to a certain place, sorry, with my ability, who can't do it. Although the heart has already been ready for disappointment, at first hearing, Mo Shanghua's heart is still filled with endless frustration, pursed the lips tightly and did not speak for a long time. Joyo glanced around her pretty face, frowned slightly, and said, You have no accomplishments. Why can you safely shuttle through the cracks of space? Previously, the soul of Mo Shanghua was able to cross the kingdom of God by chance, but now she is just an ordinary person without half cultivation. How can she resist the space turbulence that can tear people apart? In front of the person is not a good deceiver, Mo Shanghua also did not hide, frankly said, Is someone to help me to get through? After a pause, she suddenly flashed a faint light in her eyes and straightened her face. That person's track, when he was in the kingdom of God, he did everything he could. Now I want to come here, just to lead me to modern times and send me back to see Yunwu. 9 You complexion also gradually dignified get up, eyebrow tiny wrinkly, according to your meaning, all these are that person in the back to add fuel to the flames? Mo Shanghua nodded positively. All the puzzles in the past were completely solved at this time. It turns out that this is the real purpose of Ning Tongji. From the beginning, he looked down on them from a high angle, just like the god above. In fact, many of their actions were in his hands. He came to the imperial city just because she was in the imperial city, and he wanted to use her to achieve his goal. What's more, if she can freely shuttle through the cracks out of control and protect her safely back to modern times, how can she be an ordinary person? Not only that, he must not be a man on that continent. Only with the rare spiritual power of the kingdom of God, I'm afraid I can't raise such a person with high spiritual power and unfathomable depth for tens of thousands of years. Mo Shanghua suddenly raised her eyes and said, This man's pseudonym in the kingdom of God where I live is rather familiar. I think it's just a fake name. His real identity is undoubtedly a person from the mainland of China. Joyo nodded slightly, then shook his head. His eyes were complicated. No one in mainland China has remembered Yunwu for a long time. How could anyone work so hard to help your mother and daughter recognize each other? What's more, those who have such ability are just two people. Which two? Mo Shanghua stares at Jiu tightly, and almost opens his mouth urgently. Jiu didn't want to tell the truth. He said directly, one is the demon god who has changed his color after hearing it, and the other is the first god of the Protoss, Tianshan. Mo Shanghua knows that she is now her husband Yan Beicheng, and Mo Shanghua, the god of the Protoss, has heard a little about it. However, the whereabouts of Yanbei City are unknown. What's the origin of this matter? Looking at Mo Shanghua's puzzled eyes, Jiu thinks again and again, and tells her everything that happened to Yunwu. Mo Shanghua has heard it carefully, and at the same time, she is completely determined that, it is better to know than to know. As soon as her voice fell, she felt that an extremely powerful force suddenly rose behind her, which made her back cold. She turned quickly and saw Ning Kongji in a white shirt with a handsome and gentle face. Nine, you instantly get up, a hand tightly grasps the body-side loving wife's hand, the voice sinks down, really is you. Rather no, not anger, not smile, lips slightly with a bit of shallow radiant, light mouth explanation, no, I'm just a separate body. Mo Shanghua is also the same vigilant, the first time to come forward, eyes staring at the eyes of Ning Jiji, said, originally, all this is your calculation. Ning Tongji nodded slightly and admitted frankly, to be exact, it's Tianshan's calculation. I'm just his part. All these things are under his will. What is the purpose of that day? 9. You get up, the body's prestige spreads quietly. Who would have expected that Ning knew that he was only separated, but he didn't move the thread. He said faintly, although I am only separated, I have undertaken nearly half of the hard work of Tianshan. After the hardening of the year before last, you can't help me. 9. You eyes and peep out a bit surprised way, why does he want to do so? The quiet eyes of the flowers on the street are slightly heavy, and the heart is already a little clear. Ning knew that his eyes swept over calmly and said slowly, his identity, some things naturally can't be done by himself. You don't have to doubt my purpose. His biggest wish is to let Yunwu find his mother. Jiu still can't understand it. He looks at him warily. Cloud dance has long been out of existence in mainland China, and he should not remember it. The flower on the street also coagulates the Mao light, and stares at the Ning No in front of me. After a while, she suddenly said, no, it's impossible. If so, I will no longer exist, and Tianshan will no longer exist. This is obviously a fraud. A word, such as stone-breaking sky, will all the truth analysis in front of the public. 9. You completely stay Len to come down, see you eyebrow, the heart doesn't understand. It's all so strange. If it's just a scam, how can things evolve to such a state? The flower eyes on the street seemed to contain sharp arrows. At a glance, he penetrated into the bottom of Ning Tongji's eyes and saw through his thoughts. This was the first time that he had such a feeling. He was a little surprised in his heart, and then slowly hooked his lips and laughed. It seems that most of Yunwu's intelligence and boldness are inherited from you. Ning knows to see the eyes of the flowers on the street with a bit of appreciation, said, however, this cannot be completely regarded as a fraud, at most just not as you think. Things have been reversed. People in mainland China have indeed forgotten the existence of Tianf and Yunwu. But without Tianf, there would be no Tianshan, so Tianf still exists. It's just that the ending of the story is different. Tianf's future generations have good intentions. If we do it again, she will not make such a choice in her previous life. Ning knows to explain with a smile, as if Gao Gao stay out of the matter, there are not too many emotional waves in the eyes. In this way, everything makes sense. The flower on the street nodded slightly, and all the doubts in her heart were solved. Jiu frowned tightly and thought for a long time. Finally, he wanted to understand. Is Yunwu aware of this? The flower on the street suddenly raised her head and looked at Ning Kongji. Unexpectedly, he shook his head. She doesn't know yet. Jiu sat down again and leaned on the armchair behind her. If she knew it already, she would not stop. Tianxian just wanted to give her a surprise and lead her mother to her side while she lived in peace. After a pause, he began to smile. After all, you are her grandmother. The flower on the street didn't hold back, and the corner of the lip twitched a little. Theoretically, it's a good thing, but she's still in her 20s now. I'm afraid Tianxian's age will be counted by hundreds of thousands. Did not think, rather no actually nod light smile, Wei, really is such. After a pause, he said, the purpose of this visit is more than that. Mo Shanghua turned her eyes and pursed her red lips gently. A moment later, she whispered, is it about Yanbei City? Ningji nodded and said in a low voice, he was a demon god in his previous life, and his cultivation is comparable to that of Tianxian. His cultivation can also be inherited. At this time, his cultivation has gradually awakened, and he will be fine. But I'm afraid it will take a long time for you to get together. Thank you very much. Mo Shanghua stands up straight and thanks. She knew very well in her heart that without his help, Yan Beicheng and her memory would not recover so quickly. In addition, he must have solved the problem of her identity in modern times. Otherwise, I'm afraid that someone from the Special Combat Brigade would have come to her for a long time, and she would never have had time to find her daughter wholeheartedly. Ning Tongji lifted her up with a smile, these things don't need to care, but I have one more thing to tell you right now. If you want to wait until your husband, you need to strengthen your cultivation. After a pause, he turned to Jiuyo and gave a gentle smile. 9. You understand, take out a Dan pill from the bosom, hand to Mo Shanghua, this thing can protect your appearance not to change. A kindness, Mo Shanghua will not refuse it, toward two people slightly a nod, thank you. It's too early to say that. 9. You say, in the eye penetrate to put on a smile of profound and unpredictable. The flowers in the street are jumping wildly. In the next moment, they see the big hand of Jiuyo waving. They are in the center of the house. This place seems to be the place where the spiritual power of the whole space converges. As soon as we get here, the flowers in the street feel that the spiritual power around us is dozens of times stronger than that in the house just now, and even the flowers and plants are very luxuriant. Jiuyo is broad-minded, but also, love the house and the dog, said, this is the place where the spiritual eye of this space is, if you want to concentrate on cultivation, even if this is it. After a pause, he said, by the way, this space is no better than other places. One day outside, there is only 1 hour in the space at most. In this way, we can get twice the result with half the effort. Mo Shanghua, a restless heart, gradually calmed down, sincerely thank you, I will write down. 9. You waved, smile of don't care, in fact you don't have to be like this, I also just see in the face of Cloud Dance. Rather know that there is no need to say, it is also because of Cloud Dance. Mo Shanghua pursed her lips, and her eyes were a little relieved, Cloud Dance can have you, I'm really happy for him. Rather no a little smile, eyes modest, no need to care, now, you just need to practice safely. Cultivation is a long-term thing. Mo Shanghua now knows the cause and effect, and her mood has already stabilized. Before she closed the door, she came out to meet the dragon and fell in love. When Long Qing'ai knew the identity of Mo Shanghua, his heart was quite complicated, but in the end, blood and kinship overcame all the discomforts in his heart. Grandma. Her face turned red for no reason. Oh, my God, she is an old woman in her 30s, but the fact that she wants to call a woman who is now only 2 decades old as a grandmother is too strange. Di Xing is more awkward than Long Qing'ai, especially his previous actions. If you wait for Yunwu to come back and know, you will surely peel his skin. Think of here, Di Xing heart for no reason a cold, also can't care about the body courtesy, extremely smooth called out, grandmother, the previous thing is I wrong. Mo Shanghua glanced at Di Xing faintly and nodded slightly to the son-in-law, when things happen, he is calm and flexible, but he can be a man. She never praises others easily. This is her recognition of Dixing. Di Xing in the heart of a small sigh of relief, the face is not humble smile. Long Qing'ai turns his head and angrily looks at him. His face is slightly strange. Everything is good. It's just this clumsy problem that hasn't changed for so many years. He once mistook his mother, but now he has made the old problem again. Mention this matter, Di Xing in the heart also quite feel bad luck. Once upon a time, when Long Qing'ai and Yunwu met each other, he put on a show to win people in public. He also had a big fight with his mother-in-law Yunwu. Now, I think, he is really a bit clumsy. Although the couple had some discomforts in their hearts, they still recognized the grandmother, but it was Di Yan, who was coy and tight at the moment. Especially when he saw the beautiful young face of Mo Shanghua, he couldn't say, great-grandmother, in any case. Mo Shanghua squatted down, reached out and pinched his white cheek, and said, "It doesn't matter if you don't want to call me. In short, I can discipline you now." Di Yan let Mo Shanghua pinch, obsidian-like dark eyes filled with complex, tight little face did not open. The flower in the street doesn't care about it. Instead, she looks at the dragon and says, "I've come to tell you one more thing. I don't know when your mother will come back. If she comes back, please let me know." Long Qing'ai immediately nodded his head like a pound of garlic, quite flattered, "Grandma, you don't have to be so polite. We are all younger generation. If you have anything, just give me a direct order."